Tanvir Sadiq of the National Conference says that the government, the present ruling government, owes some answers, because security, in the end, the buck stops with the government. Secondly, when you claim that there has been massive change, massive improvement after the abrogation of 370, how would you explain what's happening today? Please respond, sir.
Yes. Barkha, first of all, a very good evening to everybody across the board, and a very good evening to everybody who's watching your show directly.
Yes.
Coming directly at the crux of the veteran issue, militancy is a decades old, and indoctrination is more decades old an issue in Jammu and Kashmir. One thing is, which is very clear and categoric, that at least we have a government in place which doesn't differentiate between permissible and an impermissible category of terrorism. So terrorism is particularly taboo, that it may be terror financing, it may be terror promoting, it may be joking and virtually betting for terrorists and working for a soft ground or a middle ground also. So the parameters which are used, which are employed to measure the degrees of terrorism. So there's a considerable decline. This is not what Bharatiya Janata Party says. This is not what the Bharat Sarkar says. This is what the international agencies and international experts say. So, coming directly at the recent spurt of events which have happened, we don't shirk from our duty, from our honors to protect the lives and limbs of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Though the terrorists, they have changed their modules. First of all, they changed to hybrid sort of that militancy. Then they changed their module to dropping the materials from drones. And now this is a third module, which somewhat the DGP has coded that they come from a relatively peaceful areas in Himachal, Punjab, and then virtually sneak into the territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So one part of the affair remains managing them on the border. Second part remains managing them within the Jammu and Kashmir. Third part remains that managing them where they are trained. So I think the government and the security forces and the armored personnel, I think they are doing the job, and we have full confidence in their ability, in their way being dealt by them.
But can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Do you agree? And I need to go to Mr. Vaid and General Hasnain right after that. Do you agree with Mr. Swen's comments on, he used the phrase so-called mainstream parties have helped Pakistan to infiltrate every walk of, he meant the Kashmir Valley, not so much Jammu, but even in Jammu, some questions are being asked about local involvement, and I'll come to that in a moment. But do you think a police officer should make that comment? Mehbooba Mufti says he should resign, or National Conference says it's none of his, he shouldn't be entering the political space. Aren't these kind of differences between the security forces and the political mainstream also in the end leaving Pakistan with the advantage? This is the time for a united front. This is not the time for these divisions.
One issue and the basic running code which the Director General Police has flagged.
Yes.
May I put it in the same vein, that who called Burhan Wani as a partier? Who raised questions over the execution of Afzal Guru, the main conspirator of the parliament attack? Who went to the funerals of the dreaded militants? Who condoled the deaths while sitting at places and publicly issuing lullabies and publicly making such statements which virtually created a confusion amongst the people? So I use the word terrorism is a taboo. We need to be very clear and categorical. We are mainstream politicians. We swear in the Constitution of India. We swear to go by the Indian system and the Indian contour of laws and regulations also. So one thing, what's bad in it? What's bad in it if he flags that issue? You see, politicians are people who enjoy a bigger acceptability and bigger space among the hearts and the minds of people, because they are elected directly by the people. They have a direct contact with the people. If they behave and the way the DGP has pointed out, I think this is a serious moot point. He has not named anything, and some of the politicians have reacted. This is the same case as if that thief, that chor ki daadi mein shayad ko tinka hai, shayad isliye shayad ko taklif ho raha hai. That's not.
Let me get a very brief interjection, because I really want to come back to the security perspective and what Pakistan is doing. Tanvir, the soft on terrorism allegation, you've heard the examples from Burhan Wani to Afzal Guru. He says that Mr. Swen didn't name anybody. He didn't say National Conference, Mehbooba Mufti. He may have meant somebody else. We don't know who he meant. Why has it been taken so personally by Kashmir parties?
Obviously, my friend from BJP doesn't understand that he has pointed figures on, even on his A team and B team, who were just, sitting with Jamatis and all these terrorist leaders just before elections. So while he may have pointed fingers at us, he has pointed fingers at BJP and its allies also. But that's not the point. The point is, uh, Kashmir needs a political setup, whether somebody likes it or not. It's been many years. If you want to have some semblance of normalcy on the ground, you may, if you have an attack, you have 10,000 reasons to justify that, and that comes from the BJP. But what I am saying is that in absence of an elected government, nothing will be better. The things will get worse. My point, my only question to my friend in the BJP is that, because they were the ones who said that after abrogation of Article 370, things will be better. The root cause of militancy is 370. The root cause of terrorism is 370. So if 370 is gone and now it's close to around 5 years, what has changed? If I ask them a question, they'll say, there are millions of tourists who have come. If I ask them a question, why is a soldier dying? You know what? There are one now double of Amarnath Yatris who have come. That's not the answer I want. I want an answer that if what you said, that in 2019, what you did, things will improve, the lives of the people will improve. Where is the improvement?
Okay.
Where is the infrastructure? Where is the development? I'll ask
Okay.
them thousands of questions, but I'll only get one answer. And that is that we are either in cohorts with terrorism, or we are either Pakistanis or we are terrorists.
Let's nobody, we're all proud Indians here on this program. So let's first underline that. And we all care for the security of our country. Let's pick up the last point about political process. General Hassan, you have been arguing that one aim is to somehow stall the imminent, the restoration of statehood. There have to be elections. There have to be local elections in Jammu and Kashmir to somehow stall that. Because the Lok Sabha elections have been very successful. There has been high turnout in the Kashmir Valley in particular. And we can leave it for another day what our interpretation is of that turnout. But there have been no boycott calls. None of that has worked. I have met families of militants who have voted in these elections. Now I want you to join the dots with A, the Kargil anniversary, B, the elections, and see the 370 narrative that SP Vaid said Pakistan is keen to question. But the curious thing is, Pakistan looked very absorbed or distracted by its own problems. How do we read the timing of what's suddenly happening? What has happened?
Barkha, this timing business is very interesting, no doubt. A lot of people think that Pakistan is in the midst of a huge crisis. Of course, they've got an economic crisis on their hands. They've got a leadership crisis on their hands. They've got one of the large campaigns and counter-terrorist campaigns, which is going on at the same time. But Pakistan has been used to this. Pakistan's three primary areas of concern on security are the Afghan frontier, its own internal security, and Kashmir. And it has been able to balance between the three of them. When Burhan Wani was killed, the next day, the priority changed and Pakistan switched complete focus towards Kashmir. They've been observing this situation and they've been waiting for this opportunity after 4th of June. They waited for 4th of June to see what the turnout in the Lok Sabha elections, etc. is going to be. They didn't want to sort of do something which will give an advantage or something to any single party at that time. 9th of June, they particularly timed that strike, and that too a very dastardly strike against pilgrims. They did it at that time. So all this timing is primarily to send home a message. In hybrid war, in proxy war, timings are one of the most important aspects. They could have done this 3 months later, but it wouldn't have mattered at all. This is the time when they had to send home this message. Also establish their own relevance in the eyes of the electorate in Kashmir and in Jammu and Kashmir, to tell them we are still relevant. Pakistan has still got its stakes here. We've got our ability to be able to interfere here. This is what they are actively doing by trying to do this, right? So, to my mind, political narratives are there, no doubt. But politically, more than even the military aspect, it is the political convergence of thoughts, ideas, everyone coming together, going down to the public, getting the support of the public, which is far more important than even the military operations which are going on at the moment. At this time, you cannot be seen to be divided. And unfortunately, this is what is emerging. It seems seemingly like, even in programs like ours.
I agree with you, and Mr. Vaid, that takes me to the comments made by by Mr. Swen in a post that you have previously served in. It's caused a lot of controversy in the Kashmir Valley, and it has created a kind of controversy which, in the tutu meme, Pakistan will only take advantage of these divisions. What do you say, sir?
Barkha, before I answer your question, I just wanted to mention, recalling, if I'm not wrong, the Mashedi attack happened on 8th July. And 8th July is the Burhan Wani death anniversary, if you recall.
That's right. That's right.
That could be the coincidence, but that is one thing I wanted to.
Yeah.
Coming to your question that Mr. Swan made this, I think he didn't make this statement in the public. I was hearing his interview on the one of the channels. He said, "I made this to the this while he was addressing the Indian Institute of Indian IIM of Jammu, Indian Institute of Management, Jammu, the students of that institute. He was talking to them about general overall situation of Jammu and Kashmir, and he said, "I didn't mean blaming any political party, but what he said largely, I think." We all have seen Kashmir, and it is a fact that we must give credit to Pakistan's deep state. It had, in the 90s, if you recall, had successfully infiltrated almost every wing of the civil society of Kashmir. And political parties they are not no different from civil society. Ultimately, politics also plays within the civil society, and whether you take academic institutions, you take even civil government, you take bar council, you take media. You have been
But
media.
that argument, sir, sorry to interrupt you, has been in the valley, right? Where there is a history of there is a long history of the insurgency in Jammu, in the area which is now the epicenter. What do you make of the debate around local support? Because locals are actually armed in village defense committees. We have those images. They're helping today the security personnel hunt down these terrorists. They have shown exemplary courage, right?
Absolutely.
So then when people say, oh, they couldn't have done this without local support, if there is local support, if these terrorists have infiltrated, or Pakistan regulars or retired regulars have infiltrated over the last 6 months, somebody has been giving them shelter, right?
Yes.
Now, it could be from fear. It could be from fear. It could be at the barrel of a gun. It may not be from ideology. But they couldn't have lasted this long without some local involvement.
Barkha, coming to your particular question about this Jammu region, I don't think you can blame political parties for this. I don't think. Absolutely not. And
Exactly.
as I understand, I come from Jammu region. I have worked here in different capacities, even as an IG. What I understand and what my sources tell me, it is the fact that all these people who are operating in Jammu region are Pakistanis. They are not local terrorists. This argument that they cannot operate without local support, absolutely correct. Terrorists would not have known where Shiv Kodi Shrine is and where the bus would be flying and attacking that bus, which route the bus would be flying. Local support is there, but they have what I am told is some of the boys who from Jammu region had in the 90s and in the early 2000s had crossed to across the border, who continue to stay in Pakistan, did not come back, probably have been taken in confidence by the deep state of Pakistan, and some of them have been seen with them in Mashedi incident, and some of them have been those who have not come here this side. Some of them have come with them with these foreigners. Some who have not come, have their contacts have been used to establish this network, and maybe somewhere coercion is used, somewhere money is used, somewhere even ideology is used. So all these factors are there. They are able to manage for the time being, but I don't think it's going to last for a longer period. We will see. We had seen such thing in the 90s and in the 2000, and very same army and very same JNK police and CAPF were able to get this region free of terrorism. And you will see in the days to come, again, we will have an upper hand over them.